twitch.tv. Good morning to YouTube as well. And of course,
Hear ye. Let the record show that this viewer was here first.
good morning, Samurai Sam, who is first. And good morning, Mini Motorways. Let's go to Beijing for today's daily challenge. Weekly choices will be a mystery, but we know they won't be roundabouts. So, let's just burn this bridge right now. I'll get it back when the map expands up to the north. Remind me to get this back when the map expands to the north. But for now, it'll be fine. Good morning, Sam. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday, my dudes. Oh, speaker, you're a little bit loud. There you go. It's what they said when Nancy Pelosi was shouting. Speaker, you're a little bit loud. No roundabouts means Goog has a chance at a good score. There are no roundabouts and there's no fucking Zelda. Oh, for those who were here last night, you already know that it was one of those nights where you try to play Breath of the Wild and Breath of the Wild is like, no, fuck you, which apparently just happened. Apparently they just happen every now and then with what is allegedly a great video game, but hey. Let's take this blue guy right here, swing you this way. That looks awkward and bad, but whatever. Last night was a, here's what we did last night. Let's take the left one, and we get a bridge. Hooray, bridge. So last night, I started the stream at, I think it's called Goron City, the city at the base of the Death Mountain volcano, where you need to go up the volcano to tame the legendary beast, and then something save the world, right? And we went for 2.5 hours, maybe 3. In those 2.5 hours, I accomplished 1 shrine, and I managed to get from the base of the volcano to the divine beast inside the volcano. And that's it. That's it. And listen, the game did not intend for that to be a 200-minute quest or whatever, a 150-minute quest. Of course, the game also did not intend to be effing garbage, which at many points, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is effing garbage. Don't you understand that Breath of the Wild is about the experience and not progress? I want the experience of progress. It's about the experience and not progress. Okay, well, here is what I experienced last night. I experienced discovering, because the game never told me, that even if you have the fireproof elixirs you spent 6 hours looking for, even if you have those, you can't go past step 1 of this quest, because you also need to find the completely uncalled out quest giver who will force you to track down 10 fireproof lizards while burning through your precious stockpile of fireproof elixirs. I swear to God, Yes, Titus. You're supposed to frolic in the world for 200 hours and just eventually get it naturally. Apparently so. You know, a lot of video games are used... This term is used derisively for a lot of video games. I have never heard it applied to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is a fucking walking simulator. Ooh. Maybe that's my fucking hot take. Not that it's a bad video game, but that it's an excellent walking simulator. That doesn't necessarily make sense because there are points where the game will throw up impassable barriers in front of you with no information as to how to get around them and just trust you to figure it out, and the answer is not to walk. So maybe that's not a great insult for Breath of the Wild. But fucking terrible video game makes me sound unserious. Please leave your best insult for The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild in comments below. This is what will drive engagement. This is how I do schlocky content to force my way into becoming a YouTube influencer. I insult Breath of the Wild at every opportunity. Yes! Come to me, rage clicks! Oh, Sam. Oh. As always, there is a happy medium between Horizon Forbidden West, with Aloy telling the player exactly what the player needs to do while the player is doing it, and Breath of the Wild saying, I don't know, fuck you, figure it out. But whatever. You go up that way, you come up here. I am going to become a hate video maker. See, the problem is I don't have the talent to be a legitimate hate video maker. All I can do is sit here and scream, it's bad! It's bad! And even though I legitimately believe that it's bad, I don't have the capacity or the audience retention to get people to agree with me when I sit here and whine, much like a temperamental 4-year-old that, and I quote, it's bad! But, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, it's bad. And yet, when it's good, I'm still having fun, and I don't want to quit, because at this point I'm just spiteful, so I'm gonna beat this fucking game, and then I'm never gonna play another Zelda game for the rest of my natural life. So, that's gonna be fun. Man, think about how fucking bad every other Zelda game must be, right? Like, is Majora's Mask just a steaming pile of dog shit? Like an actual, literal steaming pile? Everyone says, oh, Breath of the Wild is the best Zelda game. Breath of the Wild is one of the best games ever. How bad is Zelda? Dude. Zelda is freaking awesome. Breath of the Wild is my least favorite game in the series. Now that is a man with good taste, Sam. All right. How are we going to get pink guys over to there, or for that matter, orange guys over to there? Well, orange guys over to there actually is quite doable because we have a motorway. We take motorway number 1, we run the orange guys over to there. Pink guys over to there is going to be a bit more challenging. We just got a whole bunch of road. That's fine. You know what I think we're going to have to do is we're going to have to ask these pink guys here to pull double duty. So these guys here are going to come up here and up there, and then they're going to swing up this way and in there. And right now we've got 3 houses supporting 2 businesses, which is not good, but it'll be better when we have a 4th house. There you go. Everybody go. Don't count out other Zeldas over Breath of the Wild by a long shot. Think of Breath of the Wild like the start of a spin-off series or something. I see. Well, I hope that spin-off gets canceled. It's not exactly Frasier. There you go. The meanest thing you can say about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it's not exactly Frasier. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. It'll be interesting to see what Breath of the Wild 2 is like. It will be exactly like Breath of the Wild because people love Breath of the Wild. Why? I don't know. It's pretty. They're not used to having video games tell them absolutely nothing. There are some funny interactions with bokoblins. Maybe it's the bokoblins. Maybe it's all about the bokoblins. Listen, bokoblins are cute. Bokoblins are adorable and goofy and stupid, and they exist to be murdered, and I very much enjoy murdering them. Maybe it's all about the bokoblins. All right, I have picked up another motorway, which I could use to... Well, I should probably use it to get these purple guys over here first, because that's where they actually, you know, need to go. So, let's run you this way, pop you like so, and then right here. So, you purple guys right here, let's just take you two. I think that'll be okay. Hop motorway numero dos, go up into there, everybody go. This is what I've heard, Sam. I have heard that previous Zelda games were criticized for being too hand-holdy with the player, and Breath of the Wild was a direct response to that. And apparently the direct response to that was, in essence, well, fuck you, we won't tell you anything, and you'll fucking like it, you fucking idiots. And apparently the fucking idiots fucking like it, because it won like 18 Game of the Year awards. Despite not being, you know, a functional video game in most regards. This is an interesting trick if you can pull it off. Alright, let's try to get these orange guys up here. If we get these orange guys up here, I can save a motorway, which sounds like a good thing to do. What if... Hold on. What if you came that way? There you go. Okay. Let's kill motorway number 1 and figure out what we're doing. Oh, you just went circular, which is gross. Nobody likes that. Here. Let's take you, point you that away, and you... So now these 4 greens can support that, and we have a 5th house supporting this circle. That should be okay. Hey, look, even more. You can point that way now. 4 greens go that way, 5 greens go that way, 6 greens go this way. That should be fine. You are a blue guy without... Nora is quiet this morning. No, she's not. Nora is in the kitchen, I think? I think she's in the kitchen. That sounds right. Alright, let's see here. Take a mystery upgrade. It's another bridge. Hooray, bridge. We like bridges. Got a blue circle up here. Let's run some blue friends over to it. Bing, like so. Actually, you know what? No, that's gonna be fun. You didn't say I don't know where she is. You just said that she was quiet, which as a person with ears, I can tell you is not true. So, yeah. All right, what do I want this to be? I want this to be purple. If this is purple or orange, we're fine. If this is, say, green or... green's fine. If this is pink, if this turns out to be pink, that's going to be a massive annoyance. Hey, you know what I've got? I've got a lovely bunch of pink guys right here. What if we killed this pink access road, right? Put you back on this house duty and draw motorway number 1 over here. So now these 2 pinks support that business, these 3 pinks support this one, and we return to the eternal tenet of the channel, 1 business, 1 road. Until, you know, it becomes mildly inconvenient to have 1 business, 1 road. Samurai Sam wants to remember Midian. Oh god, Midian. Midian was, he was a dude who had a lot of gimmicks in the WWF and other wrestling companies, but I mostly know him from the WWF. He was originally, the first gimmick he had that I remember was Phineas I. Godwin, brother to Henry O. Godwin. And if you think about the initials there, you can probably piece together their gimmick. The Godwins were hog farmers from the South, you see. That's it. That's the joke. They're hog farmers. Isn't that funny? They farm hogs. Yeah. So they were a generic mid-card, well, not generic, but they were a pretty bad, actually, mid-card tag team in the WWF in the mid-90s when, listen, everything in the WWF was pretty damn bad in the mid-90s. Let's run these purple guys, incidentally. All of these purple guys are going to snake up this way and come down support this business. These purple guys... Actually, you know what? Hold on. Why am I snaking all of this way just to get this house involved in the party? That seems like a bad and dumb waste of time. Instead, let's go this way. Right down here. I can't wait to see what spawns in this newly exposed stretch of land, causing me to curse my soul and my horrible decision making. It's going to be fun. What it does do is open up all of these orange guys, so that this becomes the greatest supported circle in the history of the world. Cool. All right, everybody go. So Phineas Godwin was brother to Henry Godwin, and they would wrestle bad matches, and every once in a while they would have like a hog pen match, or they would have a bucket of slop that they would throw at things, and eventually, I'll get to Naked Midian. Eventually, as terrible mid-card tag team gimmicks do, they kind of run their course. Guys get hurt, guys, leave the company. Henry Godwin actually suffered a pretty serious neck injury and had to retire, so the Godwins were done. And rather than have Phineas languish as just this guy who used to be in a tag team, but his brother, the star of the tag team, left, and now he's just a singles guy for some reason, the singles career of Matt Hardy. Instead of that, let's take a motorway here. That'll be fine. These pink guys could kind of use this motorway right now, actually. Yeah, let's just have motorway number 3 do that. And, green guys need to get there now. Well then. Okay. That's possibly fine. How are we going to get green guys there, I wonder? We're gonna whine and complain about shit? Always. Let's take these 3 green guys right here. Point them down this way. So you share this orange road and go support that business. That'll be fine. Meanwhile, you 4 green guys right here can go up this road and come out of here, past the orange business, and go down this way. And again, that will be fine. Sort of. So eventually, round about the time that Henry Godwin had his neck injury and it was clear that the Godwins as a tag team were just done, The Undertaker was putting together a stable in storyline. It was the Ministry of Darkness. He was like the leader. He was essentially Satan, and he had a bunch of cronies and lackeys. Fortunately, for the guy who performed Midian, he and The Undertaker were good friends backstage. So when The Undertaker was thinking about dudes that he could put in his stable, he naturally thought of his good friend, I don't know the man's real name, but the guy who plays Phineas Godwin. Phineas Godwin and The Undertaker, good friends, apparently. So, Undertaker eventually got Phineas in his stable, but you can't have just Phineas Godwin, the hog farmer, in the murder cult stable of The Undertaker. That's weird. Dennis Knight. There you go. Thank you. That sounds right. So you can't just have Phineas Godwin, the hog farmer, in the murder cult stable of darkness or whatever. They decided that he needed a rebranding, and that rebranding became the character known as Midian. And I don't know why they chose Midian. I had never heard of that word in my entire life, and I still have no idea what it means. It sounds vaguely like minion, but why couldn't they just call him Minion? Remember that this is before the time when the word minion inevitably thought of horrible, evil Twinkie people. There were no horrible Twinkie people before the 2000s. So there was no risk of Dennis Knight just having to come out in a yellow bodysuit and say, banana. Thank God. So Midian was just a generic foot soldier in an evil cult stable, really. He beat people up when people needed to be beaten up, and he got beaten up when Undertaker's people needed to be beaten up, and he was never very good or interesting or over in any way, but, whatever. It gave him something to do. He could have been like that. Listen, Undead Hillbilly Farmer, you could totally do that. They just didn't. Instead, they pretended he was a brand new character. Eventually, as the Ministry of Darkness stable kind of ran its course and it united with united with Mr. McMahon's corporation, and it was a whole terrible thing eventually. So once again, the stable had run its course, and it was time for them to find something new. And for whatever reason, probably just because Vince McMahon is a prick, if I'm being honest. Like, if you need a reason for any of the things that I'm about to tell you, it's probably just because Vince McMahon is a fucking prick. Vince decided it would be funny if Mideon had a stripper gimmick, or a streaker gimmick, more specifically. Because he was, a large guy, had a bit of a belly, wasn't terribly aesthetically pleasing. So, in order to make himself laugh, because he's a shithead, Vince McMahon decided, let's give him a streaker gimmick. He can be naked Mideon. Ha! That's such good shit. So, every once in a while, for no particular reason, Mideon would come out wearing nothing but the tiniest little thong imaginable, and they would say that he was naked, and he would streak. And somehow he kept this gimmick and stayed employed for several years doing this. I don't know. The WWF was weird, and Vince McMahon is a bad, strange person. He's both bad and strange, this person. Alright, these orange guys are going to need to come up this way and supplement this nonsense right here. How much creative input do guys have over their character? It depends on the guy. It depends on the guy, and it depends on the era, right? If you're The Rock in 1999, you have a ton of creative input over what you're doing and, what your character says and does and that sort of thing. If you're Brock Lesnar in 2022, you have a ton of input over what you're doing, to the point where Brock especially, will regularly just say, no, I'm not doing that. And then they'll change the plan. They'll change the finish of a match. They'll change a promo. They'll change anything, right? If you're a guy like Mideon in the mid-90s, you don't have a ton. You really don't. You have as much freedom as Vince allows you to have, which is usually, Mideon was never a guy who cut a ton of promos, but this was also before the era of super scripted promos. So Mideon probably would have had a decent amount of input into word choice and general mannerisms while he's cutting his promos. But in terms of the character, no. When they came to Mideon and pitched the Naked Mideon gimmick, even if he didn't like it, Dennis Knight was low enough on the totem pole that he had to have known, if I shoot this down, it's gonna go poorly for me. Speaking of things that are going poorly, this run, as Sand notes, is not. So that's nice. I am noticing that our blue guys in general are starting to fall apart. Just as a blanket statement, blue guys are in trouble. So, what can we do about some of that? We can take these blue guys here. We can supplement this blue circle, no problem. Good morning, D-Dibes, or DDYBES, or however you pronounce that. Good to see you. Oh, let's see here. I've got another blue right here, which we can pop in that way, and I'll stick a traffic light there because that's going to be a good traffic light. This right here would be a bad traffic light, so we're not going to do that. Unfortunately, I don't really have a great plan for fixing this guy. This guy is just kind of struggling. So, eventually we're going to run out of blue guys here. Blue spawn there is mildly helpful. Very mildly, actually. As in, turns out to not be helpful. How are we going to get more blue guys over to here? That's a very good question. I don't have a roundabout, which is a shame. I want a roundabout. I don't have a motorway, which is a shame. I kind of want a motorway. I think we might just be fucked. The 21st century United States of America. Anyway, let's run this pink guy up here because this business is starting to have trouble. You can be supplemented by that, incidentally. This blue guy is not doing well enough. These pinks are starting to get in trouble. Well, here, have some pinks. Orange is running out over here. Yeah, everything's falling apart as we crest over 2,700 trips. I don't think we're going to get to 28, but we'll see. What's going to fall apart first? It's going to be this blue guy right here. Yeah, this blue guy is... Wait, maybe something else will beat it to falling apart. Come on, blue guys. Come on, I believe in you. Hang on long enough for this orange to die instead. Come on. We got over 28. Can we get to 29? Can we get to... No, we cannot get to 29. But we did get a nice palindromic score of 2882. Always good to see that. Fun little number there. And it's top 10% in the world. Look at that cutoff. Wow. A whole bunch of people couldn't get past 800. We got past 2,800 into the top 10%, and I beat Sam. Oh, today it is the samurai who gets slammed. Yes. By 18 trips. You love to see it. All right. You've been googed. You know what? I'll hit you with the GG, Sam. There. Let's do today's Wordle. All right. You will feel the eternal shame of having been defeated in mini motorways on one day. You know, that horrible shame. Is it flute? No, it's not flute, but there is a T. Is it tinge? It could be tinge. That's an excellent word to bust out, but it's not the right one. Alas. What about trike? What if it's a child's toy? It is not trike, but I did put the I in the right place. Show. And again, I say, Oh, is it twine? The twine is mine, you filthy swine? It's not twine. All right, well, this feels like I've got to get it once I figure it out. So let's do this old standard. Not a word. Not a word. Not a word. Not a word. I don't think that's a word. Not a word. Not a word. Not a word. There you go. Okay then. I almost thought of that as a hard C and was like, oh, twike isn't a word. But no, twike is a word. It's a soft C. So, all right. Here's a new thing I just thought to do. Let's see if we can sum up the things that we have learned on today's episode, right? It's like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, except not at all like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Here is what we learned on today's episode of Good Morning Mini Motorways. 1, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, is a bad video game. Hot take. 2, I can speak for a very long time about the mediocre career of a long-term undercard wrestler in the 1990s World Wrestling Federation. 3, twike with a hard C is not a word. If you take these 3 lessons out of this show and nothing else, you will have a wonderful day. And I hope you do. I will be back here on Twitch tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock Eastern, for another edition of Good Morning Mini Motorways. For the folks on YouTube, of course, today there is a new episode of Horizon Forbidden West. We are getting toward the end of that. I have exported the last 6 episodes of that series, so we have 6 more episodes of Horizon Forbidden West on YouTube, and then probably gonna roll straight into Control. Honestly, I did try to play Subnautica. I'm not gonna. I have like 3 hours of Subnautica footage that I could turn into like 3 episodes of a Let's Play, but then I realized that I was never gonna play Subnautica. So we'll probably move just straight into Control off of that, but we'll see. In the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great one. Bye-bye.